All right, so there we go. So good morning, and we'll just need a couple of blocks today. The pigeon pose will occur at some point, so having whatever block or blankets you might want for that. And we will start sitting in Sukhasana with the crossed legs. Coming onto your mat. Sitting in Sukhasana. And using those arms along the side. Giving a little lift up, feeling space coming between the vertebrae, space in the hip sockets, whatever little shifting and squinging you want to do here. And then finishing with that, letting the hands rest on the knees. Inhale and exhale, pouring down the sides of the neck off the tops of the shoulders, long through the top of the head. Nice long inhale and longer exhale. Letting the rest of the day pour away. Steadying your mind, focusing on your breath. And reaching out wide through the collarbones, through the fingertips. Inhale and exhale, breathing the arms up. Inhale and exhale, breathing them down. Let's do that again, both arms up. Both arms down, then breathing up through the left arm, side bending to the right. And the big inhale, we'll reach down on the diagonal, long reach with the left arm, wherever that left hand lands, bringing the right hand to meet it. Taking a few breaths here on the diagonal. Coming up, unfurling the spine on the diagonal, coming to the center. Inhale and exhale. And then changing across of the legs. And we'll do the same thing twice with both arms, then we'll side bend to the left. Inhale and exhale, lengthening up both sides of the ribs and lengthening down. And again, like that. So doing both side bends at once, so they meet in the middle. And breathing down. And then breathing up through the right arm, up and over to the left. And a big inhale. And exhale, pulling on the long diagonal with that right arm. Bring the left hand to meet the right. And then coming up, unfurling on the diagonal to the center. Deep breath. And we'll slide the legs straight out in front in Dandasana. And then coming forward and over the legs. Inhale, making space. Exhale, deepening into the space. And up. And let's bring the legs back and into Baddha Konasana, the bound angle. Holding on to the ankles or shins, maybe a little flying, warming up the hip joints. We're taking a press down with the right hand on the inner right knee, pressing that right knee to the floor. Left side might come up a little, but then pull away on a little bit of a back diagonal left. And other side, pressing that left knee down to the floor, letting the right side be heavy, pulling back in the torso a little bit to the right, or finding a good spot. And letting that go back to the center. And then let's take the arms out to the side on the low diagonal. I'm going to take the left leg up and over into Bharadvajasana with the left arm coming up. Left leg comes over, left ankle goes into the arch of the right foot. And then that left arm continues and we twist to the right. Pulling the twist back into yourself as opposed to out and over as much as you can. And then back to Baddha Konasana. Untwist, open up that left knee. And then we'll go to the other side. So the right knee comes across, right arm is coming up, ankle into the arch of the left foot. Really reach up through the right arm and continuing into the twist to the left. Trying not to go down and around, but Pulling in and up and back and into yourself. As vertical as you can in the spine. And then come back to Baddha Konasana. We're using those arms behind. And we'll do that again twice more. Left leg coming over. Picking up the whole left side and around. Twisting to the right. And back to Baddha Konasana. And then picking up the right side up and over, twisting to the left. Baddha Konasana. And then once more, right and left. Left side comes up and over, twisting right. And back to the center. And then the right side comes up and over, twisting to the left. And back to Baddha Konasana. And then we will slide our legs back out to Dandasana and coming forward there again. Inhale and exhale. Up, unfurling the spine. And then we will come up and downward facing dog. Adho Mukha Svanasana. And walking the dog or anything else you want to do here. And then here we are in the best downward facing dog of this moment. Inhaling and exhaling, exhaling, really feeling the breath, the movement of the breath. Lengthening out to the plank, pulling the shoulders back, pressing back through the heels. Setting the knees down on all fours, taking a couple cats and cows. You're giving a little pull back toward the knees a little more so the wrists start bearing quite so much weight. Putting a little forward and back movement in there if you want. So without a lot of our weight on our arms, this is a good place to really work on trying to press down through the knuckles and out the fingertips. And then we will Namaste, knees, chest, chin to the small cobra or any other means you want to use. Hinging up and back, a little bend in the elbows, pulling the shoulders forward and then down as the hips go up and back. And then sliding up into the small cobra and lengthening down. Let's do 3 more small cobras, lengthening up, really working the upper back, and lengthening down twice more. And then we will peel ourselves up, making our way back to downward facing dog. Maybe another cat cow ripple along the way. And then there we all will be in downward facing dog. And let's lift our right leg up, reaching long through the heel, reaching down through the left heel. Dog at the high fire hydrant, bending the right knee, opening up that right hip a little, maybe a lot. And through to the lunge. Lengthening out this little lunge, coming up on tippy fingers. And then being as light as you can on your left hand as we twist to the right. And a big reach around with the right arm to bring the left knee down and Jayasana. And then breathing both arms around in a big circle of breath and back up overhead. And Namaste. And then stepping forward into the concave back, halfway up, folding over, and coming up to standing, big front body yawn. And arms around and into Namaste in front. Samasthiti steadiness. And coming back over. Big lift up. And diving over. Concave back, folding over. And then jumping or stepping back, Vinyasa, downward facing dog. And we'll do that around with our left leg, lifting the left leg up. And bending the left knee, dog at the high fire hydrant. And through to the lunge. Nice strong low lunge, very light on those fingertips. And then being as light as you can on your right hands, twisting to the left. And a big reach around with the left arm to bring the right knee down and Jayasana. Breathing the arms all the way around and back up overhead. And Namaste. Stepping forward. Into the concave back, halfway up. Folding over. Coming up to standing, big front body yawn. And around to Namaste in front. And then stepping the feet out wide, maybe all the way to the edge of the mat, or if you are a little shorter, maybe not quite to the edge of the mat. Wider than hip distance, but not so wide that it's the wide leg stance. All right, here we are. Taking a moment, finding your center here. And then we'll come forward. Big lift up. And diving over. So maybe having a block here under your hands, or we'll be headed for wide malasana, maybe sitting on the block for wide malasana. And then we're going to give those toes a little rotate out, coming down into wide malasana. So if you want to make it a little easier on the knees and hip joints, you can step the feet just a little wider, make it more like the elephant rider, or just be up higher here with the arms up on top, rather than sinking all the way down and in. The other option is the block there. And we're going to tip ourselves halfway up, hands to the floor, maybe to the block. Turn the feet back into parallel. Now we're in the horseback rider. And really pull the hips down and back. Pull the sides of the waist long and forward. You can stay here with the hands on the block or the floor. Maybe bringing them up into Namaste. Most challenging of them all. Reaching them out parallel to the ears, kind of parallel-ish to the floor. And then releasing over into the forward bend, straightening up the legs. Deep breath of relief. Up to standing, big front body yawn. And around to Namaste in front. All right, so we're going to do that twice more. Not quite so lingeringly, though. Big lift up. And diving over, enjoying the greater easefulness of this wide forward bend. And then turning the toes out, coming into wide Malasana with whatever use of the block or version you want. And breathing here. 3, 2, 1. And then tipping up into the horseback rider, turning the feet to parallel, whichever arm position you want to use. Really lengthening the waist forward and the hips back. 3, 2, 1. Tipping forward into the forward bend. Coming up to standing, big front body yawn. And around to Namaste. All right, once more with that. Coming forward, big lift up. And coming forward. And wide Malasana. Breathing 3, 2, and 1, or whatever sort of timing you're on. Going to the horseback rider, turning the feet to parallel, lifting up whatever version you want with the arms, breathing. And releasing forward into the forward bend. And then let's lengthen out to as much of a flat back as you can. We still have wide apart feet, maybe using the block there for the fingertips. And we're going to twist to the right. And be as light as you can on the left arm. So it's more of a twist pulling up and out and a twist pulling down. And then around to the left, reaching up with the left side. And back to the center. And then we'll walk our feet back into the center. Hip distance apart or maybe right together. Coming up to standing, big front body. And around to Namaste. And let's come forward. Big inhale up. And exhale, diving. Concave back, folding over. Let's step back with the left leg. And we'll come up in the warrior one. Or it could be the high lunge. You can lengthen a little more, pulling the left right inner thigh forward, rolling the left inner thigh in and back a little more. And then we'll interlock the fingers behind. Roll the shoulders out, anchor the sitting bones down as we lift up the front of the body to lift the chest, to lift the chin. And then we'll come forward, humble warrior, reaching with the collarbones, counterbalancing with the arms. Maybe you're just right along the thigh, or maybe the right shoulder shifts down and in.
We're not coming back up, so feel free to be brave about going low. And then releasing the hands. And we'll go to Vinyasa, bringing the left knee down. And we'll keep our left hand on the floor as we reach around with the right, and getting hold of the left ankle, or maybe just a big open, easeful twist right with the left hand on the floor. Letting go of that left foot, and let's step forward. Into the concave back, folding over. And then stepping back with your right leg, coming up in the warrior number 1, or the high lunge on the left. Reaching a little more forward with the left inner thigh, rolling the right inner thigh in and back a little more. And then reaching the arms around to interlock the fingers behind. Rolling the shoulders out, anchoring the sitting bones so we can lift the chest to lift the chin up the whole front of the body. And then humble warrior, reaching long through the collarbones, out over that left leg. Maybe coming down and inside with the left shoulder. Releasing the hands, bringing that right knee down. So actually we're not technically going to Vinyasa, just sort of. And then reaching around with the left. So maybe the twist here is good enough. Or if you can, getting hold of that right foot, pulling the heel to the sitting bone. Letting that go. And we will step forward. Into the concave back, folding over, and then jumping or stepping back, Vinyasa, downward facing dog. And here we are in this downward facing dog in this moment. And let's lift the right leg up. Bending the knee dog at the high fire head. And then 3 hover planks or number of your choice. Inhale and exhale, knee forward and lift. And and 2, and 2, and 3, and 3, through to the lunge, warrior number 2. Going into your breath, smoothing things out. Dancing warrior, bringing the right arm up, anchor that right sitting bone up and over. And tilting into the triangle, Trikonasana. And pressing the left arm away, big reach around. Coming down to the lunge, through the vinyasa or not, downward facing dog. And then we will go on the left. Lifting the left leg up. Bending the knee dog at the high fire hydrant. And we'll hover plank 3 times our number of choice. Inhale and exhale, knee forward. Inhale to lift. Exhale. And lift once more. Through to the lunge. Warrior number 2. Moving things out, settling in. And then breathing that left arm up, anchor the left sitting bone down, up and away. And then into the triangle, Trikonasana, tilting over. And press that right arm away, a big reach around. Coming down to the lunge, stepping back through the vinyasa or not, maybe just right to downward facing dog. Really pressing back through the legs, and then the hands will walk back to the feet at the back of the mat. Ah. And coming up to standing, big front body yawn. And around to Namaste in front, Namaste, be steadies. And let's do the tree pose. So, coming to whatever support you might want to do, use nice and simple. We're just going to do the right leg coming up and the left leg coming up with whatever version of the arms you want. So find that Tadasana Samasthiti steadiness. Press a little bit down into the left foot into the ground to lift your right leg up. And then bringing the right leg down. And other side. Samasthiti steadiness, reaching down through the right leg to bring the left up. Vrikshasana, the tree pose. And bring that left foot down. And here we are at the back of our mats. Big lift up. Maybe an extra circle with the arms. And then coming forward. Concave back, folding over. And walking back out to downward facing dog. Lengthening forward to the plank. Setting the knees down on all fours. We'll Asana Namaskar, knees, chest, chin into the small cobra. Flattening out the front of the pelvis into the floor. And lengthening down. And this time, as we lift up, we'll lift one leg with our lift. So let's lift the left leg first. Inhale and exhale, small cobra with left leg. Breathing, 3, 2, 1. Lengthening down. And then right leg lifts up. 3 deep breaths. Lengthening down. 2 more sets of that. Lifting up left. And lifting up right. And then once more right. And left. And then healing up, double cat and cow ripples. So we're going to be going to the pigeon. You can fly to the pigeon, or you can just bring your right leg forward from all fours. So for those of us flying, we come back up and downward facing dog. Ah, lifting the right leg up. Bending the knee dog with the high fire hydrants. And then right knee to right elbow to the pigeon. Maybe with a block or whatever support you want underneath the right sitting bone. Taking a few breaths here in that cobra action. Really feeling the length down and back with the left leg. Coming forward and over, sleeping pigeon. And then no. And we're going to sit onto the right hip and bring the left leg around. And we're going into that Vajrasana again. You'll probably end up with your knees facing straight front. And then we'll reach out wide with the arms. And we'll take the right arm up and toward the left for a moment. A little side bendiness. Might be more of a reach to the ceiling. Yeah. And then we'll head to the twist. Let's pick up our left arm so we get a big lift up and around. Finding the more vertical spine for a moment, still lifting up through the right side, pressing back into yourself. And then we'll go down and around, reaching across with the left hand. Any amount twisting down and around. You might end up all the way down on your forearms or maybe somewhere up here on your hands. And then, no. And we will just make our way around to downward facing dog. So hopefully you could see enough of what that was. I'm not sure what the best angle for that was. Anyway, we did what we did, and now we'll do it again on the left leg. Here we are, downward facing dog, or maybe taking a low road to the pigeon. And we'll lift the left leg up. Bending the knee dog at the high fire hydrants. And knee to the elbow into the pigeon on the left. Taking a few breaths here in the cobra action, really reaching back through the right leg. And then coming forward and forward. Sleeping pigeon. Up. And we'll swing that right leg around into Barrage Vinyasa. Kind of like the inside-outside legs, the running deer, but more of a squeezed-in version. So these are probably pointing straight toward the front of the mat. And then we'll reach out through the collarbones. We'll bring the left arm up first, side bending as much as you can to the right side, but might be more of a vertical lift depending on things. Bring that left arm down, and then we'll head to the twist, lifting the right arm up, lots of space, a big lift up and over, twisting to the right. So taking a few moments, pulling that twist in and back as vertical as you can. And then we'll spiral down and around any amount, reaching out with the right arm, walking the hands around, down, and back. This is one of those things where you kind of hit your first edge and maybe pause and breathe there. And things will steadily ease out. Usually you can end up going a lot deeper here just by being patient. And then here we are. Up. Ah. And unfolding those legs, we will make our way down to the floor, headed to Shavasana. So maybe doing a block under the sacrum once you're down there. If you feel like a little more opening in the front of the hips. Ah. So even if you're lying flat on the floor, you're still getting an opening in the front of the hips, so we don't always have to do something more. And then wherever you are, inhale and exhale, letting go, sinking into the earth. And maybe a little with the quality of the exhale. Do you need a little exhale, letting go of things? That sometimes works better with the open mouth exhale, sort of throwing things away from you. But sometimes a long, slow, more internal exhale is a way to get rid of things. I sort of feel like we're gently slipping them away, peeling them off. Or maybe it's the exhale that draws you deeper into yourself and away. Or both at the same time. Letting go and moving towards something. So if you're on the block and happy there, you can stay there on the block, or maybe shifting to lying flat for a minute or two. And then breathing back into your body, into the room. Moving your fingers and toes, maybe circling the wrists and ankles. Stretching the arms up over. And bending knees. Gently make your way up to sitting. And sitting in any comfortable position. With a spacious spine. Taking another moment, sitting quietly inside yourself. Namaste. Thank you for coming.